Welcome to another episode of Suzie No Features Gets Weird Looks from Her Neighbours. It's like 5 o'clock on a Tuesday night and I'm already drinking. It's called Cherish Blue Magic Gin and it's fucking incredible. Look at the size of this glass, right? Dave got me this glass for Mother's Day. He actually also got me, I know it's weird that I kind of have this in my bedroom windowsill, but he actually also got me this. London gin. Everybody knows I love my gin. I love my rum and I love my gin. Cal's taking a shit. Oh, fuck, it stinks. Okay. So, everybody knows I love my gin, and I always have like a bottle of Wangarei on the go, usually. I mean, right, look at the size of this glass. It's actually enormous, right? It's like the size of my face. If my face was a bowl. So this will be my like not fancy, just drinking whenever I feel like it gin. But he's put Mother's Ruin on the bottom. Dave can't just give you a present. He actually has to physically deface it in some way, which is one of my favourite things. Why do I never have any fucking features? What the shit? Well, I mean, it's a bit better, but I kind of look yellow now, so... He has to deface everything in some way. He always, like, writes birthday stamp on your cards instead of putting a stamp on it. Or... Look at my chum. What should we talk about today? Your poo is very smelly. I love you. See, he always gets me a little Mother's Day present from the cats because they're the only children I'll ever have. I've talked about this before, briefly. I've always said things like, reason number 1,000,004 why I don't want kids and stuff like that. I actually really don't want kids. I really don't want them. I don't think there's anything wrong with kids, don't get me wrong. I'm not like a child hater. I think there are kids that are really fun and cool and I like being in their company, and then there are other kids who are just dicks and I'm like, fuck off, like, why are you sticky? I tend to take kids as I like on their own merit, and I'm just not that fussed on having any, and I've been one of those people, just getting my gin, but one of those people that's always been told, let's get Pepper in the shot, oh, you'll change your mind, oh, you'll want kids one day. Sorry, no, 36 this year, not changed my mind at all. I just don't want to do it. I mean, right, there's loads of reasons why I don't want kids, actually, but mostly I just don't want to do it. It seems like an awful lot of hard work for not particularly very much reward. And here I can hear all the mothers jumping in and being all like, oh, but the love that you feel is its own reward, all that kind of stuff. I don't give a shit. I don't want to do it. I don't want to push anything out of my vagina. I don't want to have to raise it for the next 20 years. You know. Hi. Kind of trying to shoot a video. Beep beep. Thank you. This is getting very annoying. Anyway, Salty's here. Yeah, I mean, I just really enjoy my life the way that it is, and like, there's a term, right, for people who don't want kids and actively choose not to pursue that route in their life, and it's called child-free, right? And there's a difference between child-free and childless. If you're childless, it's like you wanted them but it didn't happen for you for whatever reason. If you're child-free, then you've actively chosen not to do that. I am 100% very definitely child-free. I do not want kids. I don't necessarily dislike kids, but I don't like all kids, just because they're children, you know? And I mean, ideally I'd just like to be allowed to live my life and do some travel and, you know, read books and have peace and quiet. That's all I really want, you know. And, you know, there are people out there who just don't get that. They really, really don't. But not everybody's meant to have kids, you know. Not all of us are built for it. I just don't think that, for me, it would be the right choice for my life. I think I'd be a sucky parent. And like, there are people out there who are like, oh, but Suzie, you're so nice, you'd be a great mum. Like, what are you basing that on? Because I don't have any kids, so how would you know? And, you know, if I don't want to do it, the idea that somebody else might think I'm good at it is not a good enough reason to pursue that. And some people get really offended whenever I say that I don't want them. Like, if you say to some people I don't want kids of my own, it's like they instantly demonize you and think that there's something wrong with you because you don't want kids, and that obviously means that you don't like kids and all this kind of stuff. And you know, that's not true either. Like, some of us just don't want to do it, you know, and we shouldn't have to. I don't think that I could physically or mentally handle being somebody's parent. I don't think that I would enjoy it in any way. I think that to me it would feel like a chore, and I would rather get older and look after myself and, you know, be happy and know that I made the made the right choice for myself than, you know, get to the point where I've had kids and I dislike them intensely because it's something that I shouldn't have done, you know. And I know myself well enough at this age to know that I wouldn't enjoy it, that I wouldn't want to do it, and no child would enjoy being raised by me, you know. Now Dave's going for a shit. But it's surprising how many people out there don't understand that choice, or don't understand that it is my choice, and I'm lucky that it's my choice. I'm lucky that I live in a country where whether I want to have... Are you actually joking me? Trapped in a curtain with a cat's ass in my face, my flatmate's having a shit in the next room, and my cat's having a shit in this room for the second time this video. This is not happening. Anyway, for fuck's sake. Anyway, I'm lucky that I live in a country where having a child is my choice. It is like something that I can decide to do or not to do, whatever the consequences of that choice are. And like, people are always like, oh, but who'll look after you when you're older? You know, if having somebody to look after you when you're old is the only reason that you want to have kids, that's kind of messed up, you know. And people out there who say things like, oh, it's selfish of women not to have kids. How is it selfish, you know? I'm not, you know, I'm not being selfish in denying anybody the right to my children, you know, it's my choice. And like, on top of that, how would you even know that that person wanted to be born? I mean, you're now talking to somebody who has struggled for the last 35 odd years with feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. I mean, I have spent many years being annoyed at the fact that somebody decided to just have a child, and I just had to fucking deal with that. I just have to be alive. And like, as I say this, I don't want anybody to think that I'm suicidal or anything like that, because I'm not. I have been in the past. I mean, obviously I had a lot of shit going on whenever I was a teenager, and I had a really hard time. I'm not like, oh, I wish I was dead or anything like that, but I'm not like, oh my god, I'm so glad I'm alive either. I know one day I'll probably be like 80 if I make it that far and be like, god, that didn't last long at all. But I don't think I'll be the sort of person who's afraid to die. Like, life has been quite difficult, and I just don't feel qualified to put that on to somebody else. That's not my decision to make, you know. But this is my opinion, and these are all reasons why I don't feel like I would want to create another human. I don't feel like I have the right to force anybody else to have to go through this. The majority of the time I'm really positive, and I'm usually in really good form and all the rest of it, but I do have some days where things just feel really bad, and I don't feel like I have any right to put anybody else in this situation. So I'd rather just not procreate in any way, you know. I just don't feel that it's for me. And I just wish people would learn to accept that, you know. Like, there are still some people that I know that, you know, they'll show me pictures of kids, they'll be like, isn't it cute? And I'm like, no, I don't fucking think it's cute. It's a random person that I don't know, you know. But I just don't have those sorts of feelings towards kids. If you show me a picture of a kitten, I'll be like, my womb will start to glow, basically fanatically. And a lot of the time I think that the only reason that I was put on this earth was to look after cats, and I'm okay with that, you know. Like, if that's what I'm here to do, then I'll do it, like, to the best of my ability. Other than that, I don't really know what I'm here for. If you do want to have kids, then fine, go for it. You know, that's up to you, but like, the idea of it doesn't excite me in any way. It's really hard to be my age and to be single again and say to people, actually I don't want kids. If you're in your 20s and you say to somebody, oh, I don't want kids, they're like, yeah, I don't want kids either. But usually what they mean is, I don't want kids right now, and they expect you to change your mind a bit later. And this is actually the reason why me and my last partner broke up, because he's quite a bit younger than me, and when we got together he was like, maybe one day, you know, probably one day, and I was like, probably never. And as we sort of got older together, it was like, okay, I was like, yeah, like, I'm 100% sure I never want kids, and he was like, okay, well, I do. And that's why we broke up, because, you know, when you're with somebody and you care about them, there are certain things that you can work around and certain things that you can't, and this is definitely one of the ones that you can't, you know. But like having now to start again and date other people, and like one of the things you said to them is, oh, I don't want kids. You know, a lot of people sort of see that as, oh, what's wrong with you? You know, and I'm like, there's nothing wrong with me. I just don't want kids. You know, it's not something I choose to do. You know, the biggest goal in my life is to stay in one of those glass domes over in Denmark or whatever it is, you know. Previous to that, I think my biggest goal is to stay on one of the plastic bubbles down in Enniskillen. That's kind of what I'm working towards in my life right now, you know. I mean, if we aren't definitely sure, I'm going to get really like existential and stuff now, but if we don't know that there's anything after this life and we're just creating people because we're genetically programmed, like all creatures are genetically programmed to create more of themselves. Some of us aren't. Shouldn't that be a sign? Like, shouldn't that be a sign that you're not supposed to, rather than allowing society or your family or anybody like that, your partner, to like force you into it? You know, maybe that's nature's way of cutting dead a genetic line that's probably no good. I'd like be the first person to say that my genetics are probably really faulty. If we don't know that there's anything after this, because there's no proof, how can we be sure that we shouldn't just make our life as enjoyable as possible from day to day? You know, if this is all just like a pointless blink of an eye, why don't we work towards like seriously, like a few hundred years ago I would have been like a massive libertarian. Is that how you say that? Libertarian? You know, I mean, why aren't we all just doing stuff that is really fun and really cool? And, you know, I'm not talking like mass murder. If you're into that sort of shit, there's probably a lot wrong with you and you shouldn't procreate. If it's not hurting anybody else, why aren't we doing it for fun? You know, like people are so repressed about things. They're so repressed about sex. They're so repressed about, you know, guys who want to wear makeup. It doesn't fucking matter. Why can't you just enjoy what you're here to experience while you're here to experience it? Because what if there's nothing after this and you've just spent your whole life working to save money for your fucking retirement so that you've got something to live on when you die or before you die? Do you know what I mean? It just seems so pointless and stupid to waste all this time that we're here working towards a mortgage or working towards gathering stuff, buying stuff, you know? Like, I'd rather just like meet someone and go crazy in love and like travel the world and things like that. And I don't feel that I have to make a miniature version of myself in order to leave something behind, because like I know next to nothing about my great-grandparents or my great-great-grandparents or anything like that. So you're going to be forgotten eventually anyway. And unless you do some really great work of art or literature or, you know, something like that, nobody's going to fucking care that you existed in 100 years' time. You know, so I don't really feel like busting my ass raising another person, basically is what I'm saying. You know, busting my ass to raise another person so they can go on and enjoy themselves when I could be enjoying myself right now. And some people really enjoy raising kids, and that's okay, that's valid, but I don't think I'd find it enjoyable at all. I really, really don't. Yeah, so those are my thoughts on children and being child-free. I don't hate kids, I really don't. I have some kids in my life that I'm really close to and that I think are really fun, and I really care about them, and I like to hear about what they're doing and how they're doing and all that kind of stuff. But I also like to go home at the end of the day, get into bed, cuddle my cats, watch Netflix and sleep. Like, is that so wrong? You know? Anyway, I'm going to go and finish my bowl of gin. I'm cooking some vegetarian scampi, which I know is a bit of an oxymoron. I never know how it's meant to be said. I just keep saying oxymoron because of the band Oxy and the Morons that were like a punk band like long time ago. So, you know, yes, okay, vegetarian scampi. I've had a shitty week. I had to pick up a little dead cat off the road this week and I had to carry it to work so that we could, like, you know, get it taken care of, and it has really put me off eating meat again. You know, how I kind of flicker back and forth between eating meat and not eating meat. And I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but I was vegetarian for 9 years and then I backslidden horribly. Like, I'm going to hell if there is one. But this has really put me off it. So I'm going to go and try some vegetarian scampi that the beard got me. I'm going to drink my gin. I'm sorry that I've never got any features anymore, but they're nothing really worth worrying about anyway. Enjoy your gin. Bye.